All right, we're back. Part 2. Turns out if you stop broadcasting on a webinar on Google Hangouts, it's actually impossible to reconnect unless you send a new link out. So I was in the middle of answering a question from Mr. Patrick Pulowski, and I will continue answering that question right now. So let me share screen. So here we are. The reason Clutch is such a good directory to be on. So actually, let me re-ask the question. So the question from Patrick was, can you think of any other business directories which are similar to Clutch in terms of effectiveness and position in Google, especially in the video production industry? And my answer is, I can think of a ton, but I don't have to think of any because you can think of them by Googling top video production companies. And let me show you this. So the reason why Clutch is so effective is because here it is, right at the top of top video production companies. It's also at the top for top logo design companies, top mobile app development companies. They spend a lot on SEO. So this site gets a lot of traffic, and that's why usually it's worth sponsoring or doing something to get up on top. You can notice that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The top 10 are all sponsors. So even if you organically rank, you're going to be so low on Clutch. They changed the way they do it. But that's the way I would do it. So you can get on Clutch. Other valuable ones are the Manifest, which I'm finding right now. Production Hub is another good one. And then there's a bunch of independent production companies that are good at SEO. Here's Ranker. You can also get on Ranker and G2 Crowd. And that's how you find it. You can do this for any agency. Search top logo design companies. And you do the exact same thing. Here we go. Top design firms. 99 designs at the top, and there's Clutch at the top again. So that's why Clutch is so effective. But then there's some other directories as well. So let's jump into the next question. Oh, thank you guys for all following me back over here, by the way. Keep asking. I got your questions from last time. I got them down below. But if you want to keep asking questions in this chat, I'm happy to answer anything. We're probably going to go for like another half hour. So let's see. Let's see what else we got here. Shaw says, you helped me fund my business using cold emails. Thank you. Shaw says, how much should I charge for B2B email outreach service? Okay. So I helped you build your competitor to my business. You just stole my business. You're what a dick. What a dick, right? You should charge for B2B outreach. You should charge something in line with what your value is. And I know that's kind of a hard question to answer. But basically, it's whatever the market will bear. So I know for our outreach service, we target billion-dollar brands. So we only help people meet with these gigantic companies. And there's a very specific strategy we use to do that. So we charge more. I mean, we're charging $4,000 to $12,000 a month for our service. But at InspireBeats, when we used to match anyone with anyone, it was a much lower value, less custom email service. And that was, I think, $6.99 a month. So there's a decent amount that can be made charging for your service, but the more differentiated you are and the more effective you are, the higher you can charge. So I would say charge based on, charge whatever the market's going to bear. You know, start at 400 and just go up, double your price every customer and see how high you can go. That's how we did it. I know for our initial reviews that we started with at X27, they started at $5,000 for a month-long marketing review. And then after 2 clients, we bumped it up to 8,500. And then after a couple of clients doing 8,500, I think we're at 12,000. And now we don't even sell reviews; we just sell year-long contracts. So it all builds on each other. And starting at one price doesn't mean you're going to end up at that price. So it's like even asking that question is kind of irrelevant because you go test in the market $200-$300. By the next call, you could be at 600. So it doesn't really matter. By the way, guys, I wanted to say this again. There is a special offer going on. If you guys want to hop on a consult with me, it's $100 off only for people on this specific webinar. x27marketing.com/consulting-super chat. That is that's what we're doing right now. marketing.com/consulting-super chat. You can get $100 off our normal consulting only for the next 2 hours. Okay. So let's go to the next question. Keep asking questions, by the way. This is an open Q&A. Anyone can ask any question they want. I'm reading the questions from the last webinar that crashed right now, if you're wondering where all the questions that I'm reading are coming from. So Ashok says, I'm from India and I get work from Upwork. That's amazing. I want to get stuff from outside Upwork and to generate more leads. How can I do that? It really depends on the service you're offering. But if you're on Upwork, I would say look at your most popular gigs. So what is the thing you're being hired for most and getting the highest reviews for? And then build a website around that whole thing. So let's say you're getting hired to generate leads for like 25 cents a lead or whatever. Create a website that's all about lead generation. Maybe write that. We find any B2B lead for 25 cents a lead, and have a contact form, have some info about you, and then start emailing businesses the same way we talk about here. Reach out and say, hey, we find leads for 25 cents a lead. Would love to do that for your business. These cold emails don't even have to be crazy long or anything like that. It's just enough to say why you're reaching out, say the value you deliver, and then give them a little bit of proof. So, hey, I've generated over 10,000 leads, and I would love to do the same for your business. It's 25 cents a lead. How does that sound? Very simple cold email. You don't even really have to customize it that much to start. So, next one. Fernando Labastida, I was just on his podcast. It was actually my first Spanish language podcast. So let me ask this question. I'll tell you the story in a second. Fernando says, right when I entered the webinar, you said, Fernando, and I seriously thought you're calling me out for being late. Now, I was talking about my other friend, Fernando. All right, that wasn't a serious question. No, but anyway, I was on Fernando's podcast, and it was, he would ask me a question in Spanish. Then he would ask me a question in English. Then I would answer in English. And on the actual podcast itself, he's dubbing me over in Spanish. So it's not even my voice. It's some kind of like some kind of soap opera star, I assume, is doing my voice. All right, Ashok Chavada says, I want to get outside from Upwork, so I just answered that question. Max Winter says, how many cold emails do you suggest to send per day/week? It depends how hungry you are. I found that the easiest number for me to do, if I really don't feel like emailing, is 40 or maybe 20 if I'm like really down. And I've also found it's better to send 20 emails than it is to try to send 100 and not send any. But it also really depends on the campaign. So for instance, we're doing this sponsored video right now for bookmark.com, which is coming out in a couple weeks. And part of this video is me generating leads for simple apps for this mobile chat. And as part of that experiment, we're sending 1,000 emails, but it's not 1,000 emails of the same script. It's 2 batches of 500. So 500 emails with 5 different email scripts, completely different. And for each of those 10 sends, we're also sending a different subject line. So we're sending 500 emails, but we're also testing 50 subject lines and 5 different email scripts. So for the second batch of 500, we'll have winners there, and we're iterating as we go along. So it is possible to send 500, 600, 1,000, 2,000 emails a week and do it within our process and make it all work. It's just not what I recommend to begin with, because the easy thing for me to do would have been to write one script, one subject line, and send it to all 1,000 people. And that's what most people do as well. And it's the easy thing, but it's not the optimal thing. So for you, I would recommend sending probably 40 emails a week. And then you can ramp it up. But if you're asking that question, I'd say get it to a point where you can ramp up first. All right. Next one. Do you use cold email to get results for your agency clients? That's from Max Winter. Yeah. Cold email is our #1 channel for client acquisition right now. We've used it at this point to meet with most of the Fortune 500. Like, you name a company, odds are, especially if they're Fortune 500, that we've had a meeting with them at this point. And it's cold email. And most people say most people don't even think that's possible. But what I found is, if you just send a targeted email, you customize it a little bit, you make it look like it's not spamming to everybody, and you make the offer extremely relevant, it works. For agencies specifically, it's, let's say you built an app for coffee bean and tea leaf. Then you email Starbucks and you're like, hey, been following Starbucks for a really long time, really loved the launch of that new ad campaign. talk about a specific ad campaign. Here's an app we just did for Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf that's optimized their same-store sales, improve their same-store sales by 15%. We'd love to do the same for you. Do you have a couple times this week to chat? That's 3 sentences, very easy in terms of an email, but most people aren't doing that. They're either overwriting their emails, or they are they're sending the same email, not too generic, and not giving a specific pitch. So that's why that doesn't work. Okay, I just got a message and it said, I tried to send a super chat and it didn't let me because the video is unlisted. I was only trying to help. I'm sorry, man. I love that. I guess we don't do super chat. Is that what we're doing? We're not doing super chat. We're just doing a free for all. That's how this is working. We're doing a free for all. Book a consult if you haven't already. If you want to support the channel and generate a crap ton of revenue by having me knock down any of your business issues one-on-one, grab a consult, experiment27.com/consulting-super chat. You can get $100 off on this call only for people that are watching this right now. So let's go on to the next one. I see you guys are asking a bunch of questions. This is cool. We'll just keep going. Max Winter answered his 2 questions. Jordan Robertson, I use your system in a product-based business and it works great. That's amazing. That's really good to hear. Like I was saying a second ago, I do have a test video. We're sending all these cold emails out. It's for an app. So it's $15 a month for this app. And that's kind of a product business. So hopefully I'll have some data. I'll be ready to consult on that as soon as we get some good results there. Fernando said, did the webinar inadvertently end? It did, and now you guys are all here, which is great. It's cool. Jordan, oh, here we go. So that's it from the last webinar. Let me jump into this webinar's question list. So Dan L says, hi, Alex. How do you clean the contact info before reaching out? When I get the job titles, names are all user input. You're in luck. You're in luck today because I was just doing this morning. Let me show you. Let me show you if I can even. I will show you this. I just hope I'm going off script here, so I hope I don't show like my credit card info by accident. All right, so let me show you these right now. I just got a bunch of leads for simple apps off of Upwork, and it's exactly what you're talking about with the data. So you see it's got like ink right here. It's got stuff that's capitalized, non-capitalized. So what I normally do here is I have this add-on called Power Tools. And what Power Tools will allow you to do is quickly mess around with this data. Pretty easily mess around with this data. So you open up Power Tools. And you can basically remove anything. So normally I'll just remove ink. I'll remove the commas, the periods, the exclamation points, if there are any, the LTDs. And I'll just do this in bulk. That's usually how I'll do it for the entire list. I was just doing this morning. And then what Power Tools also lets you do, you can get this in the Google Sheets store, by the way. Search Power Tools. What this also lets you do is change the selected text to lowercase, which will get rid of these like Emily Heath. And then you can change the selected text to capitalize each word. And now this data is clean. It's clean AF, as the kids would say. 1 year ago, no one says AF anymore. That's how you do that. So I'll normally do that for like all the leads. I'll just kind of run through and like just check to make sure everything's working there. Mohit says, have you done video proposals? I have. We've landed a couple clients with video proposals. We've landed a lot more clients with cold email. I'm a big proponent of not doing extra work. So if I have to send a video proposal to get a client, then I'll send a video proposal. But if I can get a client with an email, and if I can get a client with an uncustomized email, done. I'm going to do that, right? The only reason we customize our messages is because we have to customize them in order to get the meeting book rate we want. If we had to send a video on top of it, that would just be more work. So no, ideally, I would send no proposal, no customization, to send the same message to everyone, but that doesn't work. Video proposal is too much work in my experience. What does work is just a customized email. You don't have to be too fancy. You don't even really need a landing page or anything. I've sold some stuff just using a Gmail account and a website. So that was Mohit's question. Emmanuel says, "Hey, what's up, dude?" Shah says, "What's the best industry to sell email outreach services to?" I don't answer questions like that anymore. You guys fucked up my last niche. You guys destroyed the agency market for me. I probably lost $3 million by making these fucking videos. So I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you what niche I'm in anymore. Okay. I can't do it. All right. Now moving on. My advice there is systematically test a bunch of niches. So think of niches that you want to sell to and just test them one by one and see what gets the highest results for your specific business. That's what I would recommend you do. That's what we're doing at X27 right now. And we found several valuable niches outside of the agency space that past experience tells me is not wise to share with you. And present experience is telling me that I should just tell you exactly what I'm doing. So that's the conundrum that I'm dealing with at all times. All right. Fernando says, follow on to the question about the most difficult profile to reach via cold email. Do healthcare CIOs or CTOs count as the most difficult? Those that work for health insurance companies or hospitals. So at X27, we have a blacklist of industries that we don't cold email because they're so hard to break into. These are industries that we failed at multiple times. One of those industries is healthcare in general. So that we've tried selling to hospitals via cold email. We've tried selling to specific dentists via cold email, which I know a lot of you are in that business as well. We've tried selling to medical device companies, and it's just a tough industry to break into. So medical CIOs, healthcare CIOs are very, very difficult. If you can crack that code, go for it. But I'm a bigger fan of finding an industry that wants to buy via cold email. Like, why not go for the easy one? There's so many industries out there. Luke says, what's your plan for your hair? Continue to grow or cutting it soon? I think it's at a good length. Maybe a little, I could go like half an inch shorter. But I do think it needs to be styled and probably layered at least. Something needs to be done about this hair for sure. It's gotten completely out of control. Shah says, how much should I charge for leads? I answered that a few minutes ago. Charge what the market will bear. Start off with whatever you can, and then just keep increasing the cost. Eden says, obviously you haven't tried to contact people from Universal Music / Sony just to conduct UX interview. Of course I failed. So Eden, I've talked to people from Sony. I've talked to people from large companies like that are almost impossible to break through. The problem is, if I was to guess, that you're asking for a UX interview when you should be trying to sell them something. They'll meet with a salesperson over some random person trying to do an interview with them. That's what I've found. You can still do your UX interview during the sales call, but frame it as a sales call and you're more likely to get the meeting. Alex Baca says, starting a web design firm for videographers, best way for initial lead gen. Alex Baca, you've gotten the hard work out of the way. You've got your market, right? You're selling to video editors. Now, you've got your lead pool, basically. So there is a way. I'm not sure how to do this off the bat, but other people have done this to me, where if you post a job on Upwork, people can find your email address. I would say, if I were you, go to Upwork and search videographer and do whatever that tool is. I'm sure you got to Google. It's probably a black hat sort of thing, but it definitely exists. And you can scrape all of those videographers and use that as your lead pool. Your cold email should say, hey, came across this recent video you did on Upwork, really loved, something about it, really loved the sound design, really loved the timing of the edit, and then talk about your pitch. Simple stuff. It's Alex Baca. Max Winter says, I've been studying writing content, copy and email sequence, but don't have any previous clients with testimonial. How would you go about getting around that? I have samples. So I'll tell you a little secret here about having sample work. There are a lot of companies out there that are very good at what they do. Maybe not in the copywriting space, because a good copywriter by definition is going to have a lot of sales. But in every other space, let's say logo design, music production, artists, like whoever, even coders, they are very, very good at their job and not too good at selling. So if you go out and you talk to those guys and you say, hey, I would love to sell your work and get you more clients, they'll let you do that. And what that process looks like is they'll let you use their case studies as your own to sell their work. So now all of a sudden, let's say copywriting is a shitty example because they're probably good at marketing. But let's say you're working with this copywriter now. Your value add is that you know how to find people over cold email. And now he'll say, yeah, dude, here's the case study that I used when I rewrote, Tyson Chicken's homepage. Now you can go out in your cold emails and say, hey, our copywriting team rewrote Tyson Chicken's homepage. You want to buy from us? No, do you want to meet to talk further? So it's very simple there. And you can actually save like 10, 20 years of experience by just using other people's case studies. That way, just please get their permission first. Don't just use other people's case studies without their permission. That's scammy. Most people will give you permission. Yes, they will. All right. Eden V, that hurts. Oh, he was talking about Sony Music. I already answered that. Jordan Robertson, 2 questions. 1 question about company hierarchy. What's the best ratio of positions for sales support to AE you've seen? My company is set up based off predictable revenue, which is big on division of responsibility. So I have 2 lead gen, 1 salesperson, 2 account executives. Curious if you've seen better setup. So the lead generation market has changed since Aaron Ross has written predictable revenue, meaning there are a lot of people in Pakistan, in India, in Bangladesh that are extremely good at lead generation and extremely cheap. It used to be you had to train these people and teach them how to generate leads. I've seen, at least in the last month, I've hired a lot of these guys and I'm paying 25 cents a lead, 20 cents a lead, just flat fee with no video training and getting high quality leads. So I would say unlimited lead generators. That doesn't have to be a role anymore. I would hire a first line writer. You can also get those in the third world. Those are a little bit harder to train, but somebody who's just customizing the emails. And then you have somebody at then 2 roles at the top. One is a email responder. So his entire job is to follow up with people that are in the pipeline that haven't responded yet, or make sure they got their proposals, things like that. And also follow up with the cold emails to make sure they book meetings. And then sales guy or girl who's actually taking the calls and closing the deals. And then you can have a director above. So director, let's say 3 salespeople. And then each one of those, I'm not going to give you a number for each one because those are all under that salesperson, that email follow-up person, are unlimited people, right? It depends on the number of leads that you need for your business, the number of first lines. But these are just hourly workers that you're finding on Upwork, or maybe you're finding them other places. That's at least where I'm finding them. So those aren't titles. In terms of actual full-time employees, it's the director of sales. Let's say at least 2 people that are taking the phone calls, and then however many sales assistants you need to support them. Your salespeople should be on the phone almost 100% of the time, if you can pull it off. Hopefully that answers your question, Jordan. And then Jordan says, so first, Ninja Killer says, what's a good call booking rate for an email? If you can get 4 to 6%, you're in a really good spot. So that means every 100 emails, you get in 1 call. That number varies wildly depending on industry, though. I know when we were doing documentaries for Lorelia, it was 40 emails we sent, and we got like 17, 18 meetings, and 14 went to proposals at 100K. So different businesses will definitely be more successful than others, will hit harder than others. But that's what I found in terms of just the general baseline. If you can get 4 to 6% meeting book rate consistently, you are in a good spot. And I know for Lorelia, it did eventually drop down. That was just a really good first test. So question 2 from Jordan Robertson. Oh, buy a consult, guys. Come on. A special offer, consulting. You get $100 off if you buy now. Only for people that are watching this video. I think it's $4.15 instead of $5.15. It's back up to $5.15 in 1 hour. So go ahead and grab it. That is x27marketing.com/consulting-super chat. We'll have the special pricing on it. So Jordan Robertson's question number 2. For communication frequency, how often should I reach out to the same list? Don't want my customers to get email fatigue from us. For cold emails, reach out a maximum of 4 times. That is your initial meeting. Wait 3 days. Although I was messing with Mailshake today, and they sponsor all of our cold email stuff, so I got to listen to Sujin a little bit. He says wait 5 days. So wait 3 to 5 days. I found 3 days works a little better. And send a bump email. 3 days after that, some other value add email. Usually it's a blog article you found or takeaways from a call with a very similar person. So like I just got off the phone with the CMO at another coffee company, and they're dealing with these 2 issues. Is this something that you're dealing with? Something like that. And then 3-4 days later, a breakup email. Hey, at this point, I'm assuming you're not, at this point, I'm assuming you don't need this service, whatever it is. Would love to work together. Let me know if that ever changes. Something like that. If they don't open your email, add them to a new list and try again. Usually email opens are tied to subject lines. So if they see your email and they didn't open it, I consider those people an uncontacted lead. And as long as you change it up, you're not sending them the exact same email with the same subject line, you're good to go. You're good to go there. So that's Jordan Robertson. Human Dashti says, any thoughts on using LinkedIn's email? And Human Dashti says, any thoughts on using LinkedIn's InMail for outreach? It doesn't work for us. I know when I get InMails, I ignore them almost 100% of the time because they're sales. I do, however, check my inbox, my email inbox, every 5 minutes, every 6 minutes. I can't tell you the last time I was on LinkedIn. If it's the same for other people, LinkedIn InMails probably don't work. At least not as much as email. It goes back to finding what is the easiest thing to do. Is it easiest to go through this whole system and try to get them on LinkedIn to eventually get their email address, to eventually book a call, to eventually sell? No, the easiest thing is to call them. Then you're on the phone with them and you sell them. Cold calls don't work as well as they used to. So that's why we move one step back. It's better to email them to get them on a call to sell to them. LinkedIn is another step removed and thus inefficient and not worth consideration. Unless you really can't contact somebody. But what are the odds if you can't contact someone via email that you'll get them via LinkedIn, right? I'd say if they're not using their email, you're much better off contacting them either via letter, dropping into their office, sending them a gift, going to a conference they're at. Like there's so many other ways to contact somebody rather than pinging them on another platform that they probably don't use. I'd much rather dedicate, if I were you, Human, I would dedicate those resources towards some other thing. But also test it yourself. Send 100 LinkedIn messages, do your best, and see if they turn into clients. If they do for your business, double down on that. Patrick says, might need to rewatch this as I must have missed the business directories thing. Yeah, Patrick, I answered your question. It was the very first question that I answered in this specific video, if you go back to the beginning. All right. Yuria says, I want to start cold emailing, but how do I do it with Excel? I'm using my phone for now while my laptop gets fixed. Slow process. All right. So Yuria, initial tools to get started with cold email. I would get Mailshake if you want to pay for it. Get another mail merge if you want to do something for free. Or Yesware also has a 30-day free trial. I like Mailshake the best of the 3 just because it has analytics, but for getting started, any of those are fine. Google Apps for Work will allow you to create an email that has a custom domain that sends from Gmail. So Google Apps for Work is what I recommend to get started there. And then you're on your way. Just keep watching these videos, keep selling. Send 40 emails though, or actually send at least 100 emails before you email me seeking free advice. Please, that's all I can ask for. Dan L says, how are you making sure the email accounts you send from are not being blacklisted by spam filters? Are you creating them through G Suite? Dan, yes, I found that if you create a G Suite account, use Google Apps for Work, and use Gmail for your sends, they're a lot less likely to be marked as spam. I've also found that customizing the email makes it less likely to be marked as spam. And I've found that there are warning signs to know that you've been marked as spam. So for instance, let's say you're always getting let's say you're crushing it, you're getting a 70% open rate, 200-300 sends in a row. Then one send goes out and it has a 1% open rate. Chances are you fucked up. Chances are you blew it with your domain and now you got to start over. But the solution there is if you do get blacklisted, create a new domain, forward it to your site, and start over. Try not to screw up this time. We all make mistakes. We've all, at least I used to spam so hard when I was starting out. It doesn't work as well as customized emails. But I say that to say this. It does get better. It gets better. And I wouldn't worry about losing a domain. I wouldn't worry about sending emails out with typos or anything like that. That's not the end of the world, even though it feels like it is in the moment. Just keep moving. Dan says, do you have a main spreadsheet to track all of these campaigns you're running for clients? Can you show us how it looks? I will show you. You guys are in luck today because I was sending a bunch of cold emails this morning. So that puts me in a really good spot. So here's the tracking sheet. I haven't shown this on a YouTube video yet. This is on a future one. I haven't sent these emails out either. They're all queued up in Mailshake, ready to go. But this is the tracking sheet I use. And for our clients, we use the same thing. We just have a different tracking sheet per client. So the client name's down here. So for us, we're sending to Shopify stores and we're selling them on a mobile chat app. It's $15 a month and it allows them to integrate text message into their app, into their Shopify store. So we've got our email templates here. I wrote 5 different emails that are being tested. So email 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then I wrote a subject line, each subject line that we're testing here. I recommend testing a different subject line per 10 sends. That way you can find what has the most opens. And here they all are right here. So that's the tool I use. I'll post it down below. I'll post it down below, but like somebody buy a consult and I'll post this link. If you want this link, somebody has to buy a console. I'll let you know if someone buys. All right. So let me show you this in Mailshake too. So I love this about Mailshake. I don't think I've shown this in a video either. But so I track the open rates here. And what Mailshake lets you do pretty easily is not only can you export the data in one click, but you can do this. So these are 50 emails with email number 1 right here. And what they'll allow me to do is, you see these A, B, C, D, E. So for every 10, they're getting a A/B tested email. The only thing I'm testing with email number 1 is I may be testing the subject lines. So need any help? Thank you in advance. Yo, I've got a question and hoping to help. For part of this experiment, I looked at like Sujan Patel's blog, Noah Kagan's blog, like all these cold email guys. And I grabbed all of my subject lines, which are here, and then all of their subject lines that they say work. And that's what I'm testing for the next batch. So there's like 100 subject lines to mess around with, or at least 50 in this document. So yeah, book a consult. I'd love to talk. I can go for 5 more minutes, by the way, guys. Go for 5 more minutes. So keep asking your questions. Fernando says, damn it. Healthcare is what I have to go after now. Yeah, if you love a challenge, I would rather go after the easy money. Roger, what's Experiment 27 or a good meeting book rate for an agency selling social media marketing like Facebook or Pinterest ads? 4 to 6%. That's what you're going with. Entrepreneurs Academy, saw your last video. Please tell me you didn't move out of LA. I'm a nomad. All right. I'm a nomad now. Let me go back to not screen share. Please tell me you didn't move out of LA. I'm a nomad. Okay. So I live wherever. Right now I'm in Vegas because we were trying to do a movie. I filmed the entire movie and it's being edited right now. But the promise I made to myself was I'm not going to leave Las Vegas, Nevada without a film being completed. And so the film is, I mean, the editor's in the UK. He has the hard drive. He's editing it. It looks good. It's a good first film. And it's actually a good scalable system. I think for $10K a film, we'll be able to create films that sell. And that means we'll be able to do at least one a year without making any money on film, which is great. Or if we do make money, we'll make unlimited movies. So I'm glad that that's working out. But yeah, I'm a nomad. What do you want? I might not even go back to LA after this. I might go to New York. I was looking at apartments the other day. All right. Hassan Musaid says, do you have agents get you leads for your agency? Yes. Right now we have a X27 team member who is down in South America that helps us with all of our lead generation. So he has a team down there that helps us. Also for experiments and things like that, I've been using Upwork. And should I show you this? Who cares? I'll show you the exact job posting that I use to hire these lead generators. And I found that they're all very well trained. I've got 3 minutes, by the way. I got to hop on a consult in a second. But you can see this job posting here. And so what I'll normally do is, hey, looking for someone to build a list of leads. And I'll just say that they're Shopify stores, no mobile chat plugin. Like I'll say whatever leads I'm looking for, the name of the business, and I'll say it's 100 leads for $25 and they have to add it to this form. I use Google Forms to have them fill it out. And then I give them access to the main sheet. Feel free to put this in slow motion and look at it again, where they all add the leads and they tag their name. So then I can quickly tell who's bad and who's good. Every once in a while, you'll get a bad freelancer and you just search their name and delete all their leads. I did that today. I had to refund some guy because he was listing a bunch of stores that weren't Shopify. He listed like billboard.com in there. I was like, what the hell are you doing? So I had to fire him for that. So 3 minutes. Buy a consult, please, guys. Buy a consult, because that is the whole point of this webinar. You think I'm just delivering value because I have some kind of mental illness where it's a compulsion for me to tell you everything that's going on in my business? No, I'm doing this because I want to sell. Okay, I want you to buy from me. All right. There's the consulting link I posted on the chat. Experiment27.com/consult, or you get $100 off of a consult because you're watching this. X27marketing.com/consult-super chat, I believe is the link. So let's keep going. I got 2 more minutes. Margin call. What's the best way to give value in a proposal for marketing services? The best way to give value is by not saying what everybody else is saying. Give your honest marketing opinion based on what you've seen. You've done marketing for a while. Give a real overview of their business that's customized to their business. Give real recommendations that are customized for what they're dealing with. And that's it. That's the best way to give value. Don't templatize your reviews. That's it. You know, we templatize our reviews a little bit, but at first we didn't. And I'd say at first we were delivering a lot more value than we ended up. And that's actually one reason why we got rid of reviews, is the clients weren't getting enough value from them. And now we just sell, year-long services. But if we had gone back and done these custom reviews again, they'd be just as valuable. Okay. Zubin, what's the typical commission structure to set up for sales guys who get leads? So if they're just finding the emails, you pay them per email, like 25 cents an email. If they are actually selling, pay them a flat base. If they're contractors, you can pay them whatever they'll take legally in the US. There's no minimum wage for contractors. Someone bought a consult. All right, I'll link here. Here, you dicks. All right, this is an exclusive doc for everyone only on this call. It's the tracking sheet that has not been released on YouTube. It's probably going to be released in a month or two. That has 50 new subject lines to test, and that's down in the chat below. What's typical commission? So pay a monthly fee, and then like 3 to 5%, 6%. Cap it at a year is normally what I'll do, because you don't want people getting commission way after they left the company, and you end commission when they quit the company or leave the company as well. I really got to go. I really, really have to go. Sukhjit Tour, how to handle the objection when client says other people are offering this task for 500 and you're asking for 1,000. Sukhjit, look up You're Too Expensive, Alex Berman on YouTube. I have a good answer for that. Carlton, I'm a newbie in web design. I'm not fast like you are, so I find it really time consuming to send 25 a day. What would you recommend? Hire somebody. Mika, when probing for pain points with an email survey, tips to structure the email to maximize response rate. 1 question or less. There are 2 questions or less. 2 questions or less. Mohit, could we donate to you via Patreon if we can't afford a consult? Of course. Of course you can. Patreon.com/Alex Berman. Feel free to back. I don't think there's even a minimum on there. I don't think there's even a minimum on there. I hope I linked the right doc, by the way. I'm looking at this link. I'm late for a consult. This is totally not cool what I'm doing. All right, Digital Shasta. I'm just going to blow through these really quick. Shasta says, I'm sending cold emails since a month, getting replies but no sales. How much more time will it take? It all depends. It could take 3 to 6 months. It depends what you're selling. The best, as long as you're optimizing and getting your numbers up, you will sell eventually. It just takes patience. For now, That's it for the webinar. Thanks for watching. If you want to grab a consult, you get special pricing. I think it's for the next 2 hours only. You get $100 off the consult. You can grab that by going to x27marketing.com/consult-superchat. Sorry, x27marketing.com/consulting-superchat. x27marketing.com/consulting-superchat. If you've been thinking about buying a consult, now's the time to do it because it's $100 off, and I don't normally do that at all. Thanks for watching. Sub to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. Give it a like if you haven't already, and I will talk to you another time. Thanks for watching, guys.